There is a podcast about an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years.
Hello, and welcome back to Could It Be?
An Oak Island podcast.
We are your hosts, Deidre and Dustin White.
Yo, we got the big three this week. We got the swamp.
Oh, I was like, we're on episode 11.
Well, I know, but we got the swamp. We got Smith's Cove.
Mhm.
We got the Money Pit.
Yeah, all the jams, all the important things.
Here they are, rock you like a hurricane.
Yeah, they got rocked like a Cat 1 tropical storm hurricane.
Hurricane-ish thing. Yeah, no, from what I understand, it was a Category 1 at the time.
Okay.
When it hit Oak Island. So, ouch.
Ow.
And that was on September 7th,
Mhm.
2019. And kind of got messed up. But
Kind of got messed up.
what happened before the hurricane hit? Because that's kind of at the end of the episode, right?
Well, yeah, we spend the entire episode kind of, gearing up, but we did a lot of prepping and some digging in all kinds of places.
There was exploration to be had before that hurricane showed up to
Oh,
ruin
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, well, we don't know technically if it ruined everything yet because there might be some bobbly
dazzle.
okay, Bobby Dazzlers that may have been stirred up.
Gary loves a good storm.
He
I
does.
mean, I guarantee you, if he had the choice between having this opportunity to look for more Bobby Dazzlers in the remnants of the storm or the storm never happening, I bet you he would say he wishes the storm never happened because that was a devastating storm.
Yeah,
devastating.
I agree.
But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, and he had the opportunity to look after the storm. I bet you we're gonna get all sorts of fun metal detecting finds here in the next couple weeks.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Gary, he's a little disheartened by the lack of artifacts he's finding in Smith's Cove.
Well,
I can't blame him.
He figured it'd be a treasure trove.
Yeah,
he
because
figured,
people will be dropping their treasures.
Right in that slipway, where this dock would be or where whatever was down there, wherever that was, people were moving in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure something would be there, and all they find is a whole bunch of like nails.
Okay, well, if they're moving
pins.
out treasure,
mm-hmm.
I don't know, if it's me getting off of a boat, then I'm hanging on to my treasure a lot tighter than I am, say, like my pocket knife or whatever it is.
I hear you. But he was just hoping that some stuff would have been dropped and it would have been findable by him.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's what I would be hoping for too, right?
Yeah. I mean, naturally. Well, okay. And then we have, so what he does find, though, which you were just talking about, was the cribbing spikes and such that were hollowed out. There were some solid ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they go see Carmen Legg.
They do. Our good friend, the blacksmith.
Our good friend. We don't personally know him, though.
But
everybody's our friend when they show up on the show. We just consider them friends.
Yeah. Well,
I would like to meet Sir Carmen of Legg.
There is a lot of friendships on Oak Island, right?
Lots of friends.
Anyway, so we've got the Carmen Legg was looking at all these pins that. Mm-hmm. Who was it? We had Alex.
Mm-hmm.
We had Gary.
Yes.
Do the field trip out to New Ross to his little blacksmithing hut, right? What is it?
I don't know, but I wouldn't call it a blacksmithing hut.
Okay, his
place
his
of
foundry.
business.
I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. So they're out there checking that out, getting the stuff checked out. They have like a whole handful of stuff. We only saw him find like a couple things out at Smith's Cove, or was it just one? We only found one like on camera, then the rest were like, hey, surprise, here's a whole bunch of sharp things that can give you tetanus.
Yeah, pretty much.
Handle them safely, Carmen.
Yes, please. I'm not worried about Carmen handling them safely.
Because he's gonna be safe.
Because that's his jam. He knows what's up. Any guy that has an anvil, I bet you he's safe.
He's safe. He's probably immune.
Yeah, actually. No, that's a good point. He probably is immune.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, they go and check him out, and I thought the best part of that whole interaction was Well, Carmen Lake says that these pins are definitely prior to 1820.
Yes.
Which is really good because the discovery of the money pit was in 1795, 25 years before that. And so, I don't know. Could it have been prior to the money pit? Sure, because Carmen Lake leaves that wide open. He says it could have been 16 or 1700s.
Yeah, he said it could go back as far as, what, 1600s, which is...
Many years before the discovery of the money
here.
pit.
Yeah, this is golden.
Yep,
golden.
It's good stuff. And then we had, so I thought it was fun that the way he was describing what this would have been used for to Gary. Gary's like, oh, that would be like Reba.
Yeah, Reba. AKA rebar for everybody else.
Yeah, rebar.
Yes.
But it's just funny that he said Reba. And we have one of our listeners of the show. His name's Alan. He made a meme about that with Gary next to a piece of rebar, and then a picture of Reba McEntire, and a picture of the artifact. I think that's what it was on.
Yes.
And he posted it on one of the Oak Island groups on Facebook, and Gary replied.
Did he?
Yeah, he thought it was pretty funny.
Well, good.
So, yeah, it was pretty
I'm
good.
glad
So
Gary
good job, Alan.
Can get a good laugh out of it. And oh man, and they pull up, and Gary says this is one of his favorite places. He loves it there
because all the stuff he finds gets to go get checked out there. You know, like he's like the main client for Carmen Lake,
right?
At least the main Oak Island client.
I mean, we don't know that. Maybe Carmen has a lot of other clients too.
Well, I'm just saying the main Oak Island client.
Yes, yes.
It's because of Gary that they're showing up there. Otherwise, well, they may still. Who knows? What happens if Gary never comes to Oak Island? Do they still find all this stuff? A lot of this stuff?
They find stuff. I bet they don't find as much. Yeah. I mean, nobody's as keen as the metal detecting ninja. We've seen other metal detectorists come before him, but Gary's here for the long haul.
Yeah. Wasn't there a clip going around on Facebook recently of Gary's first trip to Oak Island, or at least his first appearance on the show? And he was like just one of the metal detectors that they brought out there of like a group of like 3 or something.
Yeah,
I forgot what season that was.
It was the one I saw had to do with season 2, and they were scanning the swamp, and they had tried to do it once when it was all muddy and such, and they had like this giant thing they were dragging around, looks like a sled with metal detectory stuff on it, whatever that is. And then so they're like, no, it would be a better idea is if we came back in the winter when we could walk on the swamp and scan it. And there he was in the winter.
Yeah,
scanning.
So that's pretty fun though. And it was fun to see Gary before he was everybody's favorite metal detector, because he was an awesome metal detector then, but I think he's everybody's favorite metal detector now.
Like less people had him on their favorite list, and not everybody has a list of favorite metal detectors, but maybe some do.
He's at the top of my list. He's up there. Yeah. So I remember back when we first saw him show up on Oak Island, I was like, babe, I've seen him before somewhere. What is he from? What is he from? And then we realized, oh, he was on Expedition Unknown with Josh Gates doing some kind of dredging in England a couple years or a year prior to his first appearance on the Curse of Oak Island.
I think he's been on there a few times, and even before then, but he seems to show up more and more nowadays.
Well, he's a big deal. Gary, you're kind of a big deal.
You're a big deal. In case you were wondering and didn't already know that.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, the Carmen Lake thing was fun. I always like to get these artifacts checked out. It's fun to see him do it like as he's just eyeballing it. It's also fun when they go check these items, all these artifacts out at like the university. But I don't know. This is something a little bit different where this guy, he just looks at it and knows, because he's got the experience, he's got the life. This is his life, this kind of thing. So it's pretty cool.
It's the anvil life.
Yeah. The anvil?
Oh,
yeah. So no, but it's really good to get them taken to the university to get them chemically checked and everything too, because that's like scientific proof, obviously. That's like literally what it is, scientific proof. But
yeah, that's true, but it's important to get context for the item. While we could get a chemical makeup of what it is, it just makes sense to not only know what it is down on a molecular level, How do we use it? Like, I could say, we could know something is water, but what are you doing with said water?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I don't know where that came from. Apparently, I've got a new accent.
Yeah. Okay. So should we move on? What else did they do in Smith's Cove in the bump out this time?
In Smith's Cove?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. They were getting samples.
Of what? The giant oak log?
Could it be?
Could it be? I mean, Rick and who was it? Oh, Scott Barlow, the project manager, and Jack was out there too.
Billy.
Well, Billy's everywhere. Where isn't Billy?
They're like, Billy, we need a sample. He's just like, uses the claw to move it, drops it right in front of them, no problem. They're like, that'll work.
He says it's all part of being king of the cove.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, when you're sitting up that high on your throne, you've gotta.
He has the view, he
Billy's
is
the man.
Billy's the man. So they're out there, they grab the big giant oak log, just picks it up real easy with his little claw excavator scoop thing, and Scott Barlow goes and saws a big old chunk out, and guess what? Now we're sending it out to Dendro.
Yep. Also known as tree ring dating.
Hey, so did you ever think that dendrochronology would be in your everyday vocabulary?
No.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I didn't think would end up in my everyday vocabulary, like pooter or Bobby Dazzler.
How about slushway?
Or slushway.
Yeah, so it's not actually in our everyday vocabulary, but we do say it multiple times a week, though. Like when we're not podcasting, sometimes I'll talk about dendrochronology. Why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Why not? I mean,
because we know what it is now. Ish.
Makes it sound a little smarter if we can use big words. Yeah, so they got that. It's been sent off for dating, at least one would assume, if they're going to cut that. Let's get some answers, yo.
Let's get some answers.
All right. Did we have anything else in Smith's Cove? I don't think so.
Well, yeah. What else in Smith's Cove? I don't know. We could talk about after. I mean, okay, we'll probably talk about it more during the hurricane portion, but Rick did mention that they didn't have any real damage in Smith's Cove with the hurricane, so that's something.
Oh yeah.
So good job, Smith's Cove. Good job, Cofferdam. Another word I didn't think would be in my vocabulary.
Just around the Cofferdam.
I'm not singing this week, okay? Maybe
Lies.
I will.
It'll come. You know it.
I already did. I sang "Rock You Like a Hurricane" earlier.
Oh, that's true.
My bad.
Okay.
So, what do you want to move on to next? You want to do some Money Pit, or
I'm thinking Money Pit and wrap up at the swamp.
Yeah. What happened to Money Pit? We had Terry. Did he have any more Terry-isms?
Well, we always have our classic "Hold the phone."
Hold the phone.
I really feel like I need that as a clip so that when we're like arguing, I can be like, "Hold the phone." And Terry could yell it at you. Maybe it'll have more effect.
Yeah. I know.
Or you'll just like be holding your phone. Yeah. And I'll be like, hold the phone.
Hold the phone. I am holding my phone right now.
Yeah.
That's where all my notes are on my phone. Right here.
What I thought was interesting, we learned. So Alex picked this hole.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Oh, I guess I missed that.
No, someone pointed it out. So we know that we're at FG12.
Yes.
And the hole Alex picked, and which was southeast. It's just southeast of where they're proposing the larger caisson go in, which is the 8-foot wide one.
Did you notice when they did like an overhead shot and they showed all the where the caissons are like grouped together, and then where they have the drill rig now, and it's just off to like, oh gosh, I don't know what direction it is because I don't know what direction the picture was taken. I don't know what direction the picture was taken. But I mean, right now where that picture was, they're closing in on the Money Pit. Like they're not quite there yet, but it's really close. And it's a matter of inches and feet mean a lot when you're looking for something that's buried in the ground.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I don't know if we can stress that enough.
No, we've never mentioned anything.
We have dug
before.
For buried treasure. We have.
Yes.
We have on TV even.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's so difficult to find something that's buried even 3 feet in the ground. I can't imagine 150 feet underground trying to look for a buried treasure.
Oh man, it's exhausting to dig just like a 3-foot deep hole.
Yeah.
in ground that's a little rough.
Yeah. Well,
but
and then do you remember when they were doing the all those little tiny micro boreholes, like the really small ones where they're doing the grid?
Oh yeah.
Last season, and they would put down the pipe, the PVC pipe.
Yep.
And it didn't go straight down. It was like curved, you know, like if you
it's gonna vary.
Yeah, I mean, you put it down, and if it doesn't go straight down, well, guess what? if you moved just a quarter of an inch or something, and then it starts going in a different trajectory, it doesn't matter where you are on the surface, because you're gonna miss your mark if you're standing directly above it. It's hard.
It's like,
it's really hard
when you're trying to put a bolt and a nut together and you like just don't quite thread it right, or you're trying to get a screw into the wall and it goes just a little sideways.
It happens. And that's like
and that's
in your
like
hand.
A rigid object.
Yeah, but that's also just like in your hand, like 2 inches from your face, you know, and it goes sideways. That's not like,
because your wrist is.
That's not like 150 feet below the surface, you know. It's just
the difference is now. I mean, what they're putting down isn't the PVC pipe. You know, it's bigger and
stronger.
It's stronger. Yeah, it's much more rigid versus something that has the flexibility.
I know, but even so, going straight down, it still might have a little bit of variance to one side or the other. And if that's, you know, that can screw everything up.
Well, you have to account that there's going to be some variance when you're going that distance. You know, it's just crazy. And
kind
of a weird tangent there for us.
No, it's not a weird tangent. It makes sense because it's on topic. It's about treasure and how hard it is to find said treasure underground.
Okay. I believe you.
She just had to pat me on the knee. She's like,
it's okay. It's okay. We'll be all right. We'll make it.
Yeah. Sorry. It's just something I'm passionate about.
I can tell.
Well, because a lot of people.
G12 in particular.
No, it's just all treasure, because like this TV show, people are like, why aren't they finding anything? It's like, come on, you know how hard it is to find buried treasure? Like, I know I've said it before.
That voice?
They should.
How come they aren't finding anything? Do they all talk like that? We should have a sound effect.
I don't think so.
For that, you know, the whining. Can't find anything. That's what they all say.
I like it.
Okay, sorry.
All right. So
okay, Money Pit.
Yes, Money Pit.
When we hit 18.5 feet in this proposed hole, they get the first look at disturbed soil, as Terry says. And
who was all there?
Well, I know Alex was there. Doug,
Charles, Brennan from
Dave.
Yeah, so
obviously Terry.
Good crew of guys. You know, the workers. Plus they had the choice guys over on the drill.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. Let's see here. Marty ended up joining them at one point.
Steve was there. Man, okay, let's just talk about. I just want to say something real quick about Steve Guptill.
Okay.
Steve Guptill, man, what? I thought he was a surveyor.
He is.
I think he's like a jack of all trades. He's like everywhere.
He's a Steve of all trades.
Because
we have a Jack on the island.
That's true.
So.
But literally, he's like, okay, he's doing his primary objective, doing the survey and stuff.
Yeah.
But then we see him out like scooping, you know, shovelfuls of whatever in the swamp. We see him, you know, going over and grabbing the choice sausage and bringing it up to the table to be examined. We see him. He's the one that's responsible for battening down the hatches over in the research center.
That's true.
It's like, man, is he like their new right hand? Like, he's like someone they rely on for a lot of stuff, it seems like.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's enthusiastic about treasure hunting, just like we. Okay, if we were on the island and say we were skilled in surveying, well, in the downtime you have that you're not surveying, you're not just going to sit around and be like, do.
I know. If I was out on Oak Island helping them, I do it for free. And
they got to at least pay for your lodging or something.
Yeah,
you can sleep in the research center.
And
you won't sleep because you'll just be reading everything.
Sleeping bag, it's fine. Yeah, and like, I mean, just put me out there and give me a shovel. I'll just go and like, I don't know. Just tell me what to do.
Then what are you gonna do?
I'm in.
You're in. Are you all in? Yeah. What if I give you a trowel instead of a shovel? Could you deal with that?
I'll try.
I'm gonna get you those gloves that have like the little digging claws on the tips, so you can like go to town. I think Laird needs some of those for uncovering things because they have the little spikes you can get in the little crevices.
Sure.
They look like mole hands. Like they're kind of scary.
I've seen them. Yeah, look them up on Amazon. Like these glove claw things.
The claw.
Yeah, the claw. Yeah. Well, maybe when we send Laird some complimentary Oak Island trading cards, we could send him some of those gloves.
There we go. He'll be like, "What is this?"
He'd be like,
he'll be so scared of us.
Return to sender.
Return to sender.
Address unknown.
Yeah, he's like, "Why is my face on this?" And then there's gloves with like sharp objects. This seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, right.
Okay, money pit. They do get a big chunk of wood.
Yes.
Right. And that's 104 feet, 106 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be axe cut wood.
What was like axe cut wood?
Yes, it seems to be a trend around here. Axe cut, hand hewn. And they're saying it definitely looks different than what Hedden's work looked like.
They said Hedden's was pretty uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of his pieces of wood were like the 6x6 big block of timber.
Mm-hmm. He used a circular saw.
Yeah, and so definitely isn't Hedden.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be different wood used maybe in Shaft 2? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But they're most excited about the prospect of it being a part of the original money pit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited about that too. That's killer.
At that depth, the question is it part of what in theory is the debris field, or is it part of it still intact? So are we hitting something that has been pushed out and just kind of clipping through that, or is it something that would still be intact at the edge of the location?
I don't know. I wish they would have hooked up a gold coin with it, because then it would have answered some of those questions.
No, because that could still be a debris field.
I know, but if it pushed out a coin with it and they got that, you'd be like, oh, well, that's legit money pit.
Yeah, or the debris field like exploding from the money pit collapse.
That's what I'm talking about. Coming from the money pit into Shaft 2.
Yes, I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Good.
And they're going to send it out.
Finally.
Oh, whatever.
I've been waiting like 15 years for that.
Quit putting stuff down.
Just kidding.
They talk about making sure to do the C4 testing, but the wood looks really different.
Yeah, so can they do dendrochronology for that?
They would have to have...
Because the C4 testing is a carbon dating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, they have to have like so many rings, right?
Yeah, you have to have a certain sample size, and you'd have to be able to read it. It can't all be decayed either.
Yeah.
So with it being that dark color, I'm assuming there's a lot of decay there.
Must be. But I mean, if they can, I bet you they will.
Mm-hmm. Well, naturally. And they'll probably, if they later get a bigger sample, it would make sense to do both.
Yeah.
I mean,
why not?
In theory, right? To be able to compare it and then really narrow it down.
These guys love dendrochronology.
Oh,
they love it because it tells them when something was cut down. It tells them like how old it is, So I mean, that's everything to this kind of treasure hunt.
Mm-hmm.
When you're trying to Oak Island isn't just about finding the X marks the spot. Because if you just found the X mark spot, that'd be fine. That'd probably be beneficial if you had to drill one hole and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a bigger story here.
Oh, yeah.
Giving you the dates or years, at least a time frame, like really close. Like what did they find on the U-shaped structure? What year was it? Like 1769?
Probably. I can't
remember. It was like 25 years or so before the discovery of the money pit. So that's significant.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of this episode, they have next time on the Curse of Oak Island, and Craig reveals that the new dendro, at least that's what we think he was talking about. The new data said, what was it, 1741? So I mean, that's almost that's 60 some years, or almost 60 years prior to the discovery of the money pit.
But that also could have been a C14 testing.
It could have been
from the wood.
From the money pit stuff. Yeah, so that'd be
something. So we are kind of hanging to find out. Regardless, we know we're going to get some results next week.
Let's say that wood is like, this is just a hypothetical, theoretical thing. let's say that the 1741 date is from the money pit.
From that wood?
Yeah, from that wood.
Okay.
1741 to 1795. That's like 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they did dig a big pit right there, or maybe they started at the bottom because there's a back door through the swamp and they went up. But whatever's the case, let's say there's a big pit right there. They dig it up, they fill it back in, have all their planks, whatever, and then they leave with, because their treasure is safe. Then they have 50 years go by. Then these boys see this depression again. I can imagine the depression still being there 50 years later.
Sense. Yeah.
If it's that big of a hole, because it would probably need to be a sizable hole to begin with.
Well, anytime you're filling in a hole, it over time it starts to settle in, and you're gonna get that depression.
Yeah.
So,
especially with like something that back in those days, you're not going to have the way we can today of compressing that dirt to make sure it wouldn't move over time like we can now.
Well, and that's likely part of the reason to use the wood layers, because you're providing that extra support. And if that is there, then it's less likely to sink further and further and further in. It would keep it hidden for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I'm just thinking, like, I don't have as much trouble understanding the whole depression thing in the ground, them seeing that and then being interested in the area in the first place, if it's like just 50 years after the fact. Because if it was hundreds of years after the fact, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't look quite the same. I don't know.
It'd still be a depression, is my guess. But maybe you'd probably get some longer grass and
whatever.
Wouldn't be as prevalent. What do I want to say? Wouldn't stand out as much.
Don't know, but it's just something I just thought of on the spot, so I didn't really have much time to think about it and consider all that. But
Terry also stated that they were deeper than they had found anything in the past, which I guess makes sense. So at that point, I don't know. We hear about the money pit collapsing, but it's because people heard it during their lunch break or whatever. And we're all just speculating.
You mean back in like 1806?
Yeah. We're speculating as to whether or not there even is a debris field.
Yeah, don't know. It's like the mystery of the Tootsie Pop. The world may never know.
It only takes 3 licks. The world will know.
Are they about to do the third lick on Oak Island? Are we about to know?
Maybe we're about to get to the Tootsie Roll. The Tootsie Roll. Okay. That's all I got for Money Pit. You got anything else?
I'm just excitement. I'm excited about what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they find something. I'm just like any other viewer of the show, hoping they find some gold and stuff.
No, I'm rooting for them to find nothing. No.
There's probably a couple of those people out there.
Yeah, but then they're watching the show and they're just helping the ratings, so I'll never understand.
Yeah, #1 rated show on Tuesday nights.
On
cable. Yep. Over 3 million viewers every week. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot.
A lot of people are very invested in this treasure hunt.
Yeah, all hands on deck, yeah.
And that's just domestically. I don't know how many people listen to it all over the world.
It's a good question. I don't know.
Well, people do, because I've looked at so for Apple Podcasts, that's really the primary way people download our podcast.
Yeah.
Except even if you don't use Apple, it still might take from Apple Podcasts. Like, I have an Android phone.
It aggregates from there.
Yeah, I have an Android phone. I have an Android podcast player, but when I download it's like it draws from Apple.
Yeah.
So I technically downloaded from Apple. But so we get these periodic emails with like, hey, this is how your podcast is doing and wherever. And but occasionally we crack the top 10 in Canada for like after show podcasts.
Yeah, for after shows.
Canadians, you're awesome. Thank you.
Rock.
Yeah. And so
we always show up in Great Britain. And...
Yeah. Well, a couple of weeks ago, the show, like, I think episode 1 of this season aired for the first time in England.
Oh.
Or in the UK. And we actually, I think we debuted at like number 17 or something on
That
the Apple
makes
charts
sense.
over there.
I didn't put together that at first. Yeah.
Yeah. So UK listeners, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I just saw today in Sweden we're number 50 on the Apple Podcast After Show charts. So Swedes.
Wow. I mean, we're talking worldwide here. There's a lot of vested interest.
It looks like Australia, we're always in the top 50. So in the United States, we're always in the top 50 and there's a lot more competition here too. So thanks, US people. Yeah, I mean, we flit between like the 20s and the 50s. We flirt. I flirt with you.
And the top 50, apparently.
Yeah. So, hey, anyway, sorry about that little tangent.
Yeah, I was going to say, where are you going?
I don't know. I just saying, thanks, y'all.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Swamp. Yeah. We spent a decent amount of time in the swamp this episode, which I know you were happy about because you are a big fan of the swamp.
Well, all last season, I missed the swamp.
Yes, you anticipated a lot of work in the swamp last season.
And nothing happened. So we getting it big this year.
We getting in it. Well, they did get in it big this episode. They were in it.
Well, they started with it drained.
Yes.
And with
pre-storm.
Yeah. So we had Marty digging with Billy supervising him.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I don't know. How would you feel? You have big brother Billy watching over your shoulder. I'd be like, I don't even want to touch this.
I'd be excited and terrified.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up. I got a legend there. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
but that's big equipment too.
It is big equipment. We do a live stream on Tuesday evenings before the Curse of Oak Island. An hour before the Curse of Oak Island airs on the East Coast, we do this live stream. In the US,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the US, yeah. And we had someone with the last name of Gerhardt in our chat room, right? And this person's like, it's not too hard to use an excavator. And I'm like, yeah, well, look at your last name.
Right? Like, naturally, to even be near a Gerhardt, you must, it just comes naturally. Natural.
Yeah. But when you have the master teaching you, I bet Marty felt pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say so. He was there to do the first like ceremonial dig, it felt like. He broke ground in the swamp. Then he didn't want to be trekking around in the fetid swamp. He used that word a lot.
Yeah, it was kind of like that though. Yeah, he did. It is kind of like he just wanted to like ceremonially break ground, and then he's like, "I'm out."
Here you go, Billy.
Yeah,
and Billy. What did he tell Billy? That we'll just keep doing it this way, and Billy says, "We'll do our best." Go, Billy. Your best is the best.
Well, Billy's kind of like, "What do you expect? Come on."
Yeah, I got this.
I got you. Yeah.
Anywho.
So they find this cool survey stake that was very reminiscent of what Fred Nolan had been finding back in the 60s or 70s.
Mm-hmm. Really quickly too.
Yeah, and it was kind of a bit shorter than the ones that Fred had been finding.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they found another one shortly thereafter that was much longer. So yeah, and they're like, "Is this what Fred found?" But then they showed us a picture of what Fred found. We're like, "Yep, that's what Fred found." But they didn't. It's not like they had that reference material right in front of them as they're looking at the artifact.
No, but when you pull that out, it is very obviously. It was kind of nice to see one on screen
in HD.
Yeah, in HD, not like grainy older pictures, because I could see Fred picking it up and being like, "Whoa, yeah, this was definitely put here on purpose." It looks like a giant pencil.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
It's huge.
It looks like a giant pencil. Yep.
There's no mistaking that it was done on purpose and put there specifically and for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they just kept finding them.
They kept finding them.
Like, I figured Fred got most of them.
Well, they found two pretty quick, and they didn't have much time to dig in the swamp this episode.
Yeah.
So I bet you there's a lot more yet to be found.
Mm-hmm.
What were they used for? I don't know. But you know what? Rick's not going to stop until he gets to the bottom of it.
Oh no, don't try again Rick's way. That ain't going to happen.
Nope.
Billy picks one up in his scoop.
He's like, Yeah, he just scoops one up. He's like, "Hey guys, there's another one there."
Yeah. Like, geez, have you ever? I wonder if he was really good at those I Spy games.
He's Eagle Eye.
As a kid, like the books, he was probably like, there.
Where's Waldo? Boom.
Yep, exactly.
Remember that one Waldo book that had like 1,000 Waldos?
Oh man.
You had to find Waldo between the, he was the one without a shoe.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, Billy's like, shoe right there.
Yeah, done. Dunzo.
Yeah.
Got it. No problem.
Yep. So that was the first little tidbit that they showed about the swamp. Then they went back to the swamp and they had Billy, Craig, Rick, and Marty still doing their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Marty wanted to, like, Marty was on the ground at this point helping out. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to go help Billy.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to help him see.
Billy's looking like, I'm good, man. I bet that's what he's thinking.
No,
he's like, I
was thinking Rick's going, yeah, I know you just don't want to be down here.
Yeah,
you're just climbing up there so you're not dirty anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I've had enough of the swamp. It stinks down here. At least I get the flowery scent of Billy sitting in the...
How do you know Billy smells like flowers?
I don't know. If he's like me.
Do you smell like flowers? I don't think you smell like flowers. Maybe you don't smell bad.
Thanks.
But you don't smell
like flowers. I bet I smell better in the swamp.
I sure hope so.
So, yeah, he's just getting away from the smell. I bet you that's what it was.
And it was kind of... So, initially, the scoop that Billy brings up, it's dry, right? Mm-hmm. And then as they get deeper, it's obviously going to get wetter and wetter. They're trying to get down to the rocks.
Yeah, that
potential
paved walkway or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that Mr. Tony Sampson had found,
mm-hmm.
Some kind of anomaly, a stone anomaly under down deep in that swamp. So.
Yeah, and what they're noticing is because it keeps just kind of filling back in with the water and the muck. It's not like it's something you can just brush aside and see like they had originally thought. They're hoping to do this real quick before the storm. It's definitely you have to pump some off, and
they have to build like their own little miniature cofferdam around that area to, that's what those big box things that they would sink in would be good for, because it would kind of like isolate those spots.
So I don't think you could use the inflatable cofferdam, because the problem is what's coming in is seeping through.
Yeah, I'm just talking about sinking something way down in.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Well, and then Marty says, suggests going to get the other excavator. They can dig a trench and get it to
seep the water
into a bigger hole.
Yeah.
And then if you can do that, you're just siphoning it off, and you could put a sump pump in there and get the water out. I mean, seems pretty straightforward, but it's never that easy.
It's never that easy, as Craig
classic Oak Island.
You know what? This whole episode's a classic Oak Island.
Oh my gosh.
Right when they're about to get to something interesting, hurricane. Why not?
Why not? Let's just... It's already difficult in the swamp. Let's just add some more water.
Yeah. So this whole piece of mostly when they go to the swamp, I think that's when they typically did a lot of the talk about the hurricane coming, right?
Yeah.
And what was really interesting about this episode? It was really crazy to see like the newscasters interspliced with like, what's going on in Oak Island. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes they'd come back from commercial break and it'd be like, Hurricane Dorian is approaching,
mm-hmm.
It's going to be here in one day.
Yeah.
It's a category 1 storm, but it's strengthening. It could be a category 2 by landfall or whatever. And it's like, dang, man, it just, it hurt progress on the island, but I think it like really ramped up like the, like Marty would say, the foreboding.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, this thing's just coming and coming. There's nothing we can do to stop it. And
we're getting notifications on our apps as we're like tracking this storm, hoping it's going to miss us.
Nope. Going straight for you, dude.
Because it wasn't supposed to come up that way. Classic Oak Island's going to draw it in.
Yeah.
But it is nice that we saw some of the news stuff. It's a reminder of,
hey, this is
the
real
devastation.
World. And it's the real world. This is real. These guys are not out there. It's not just a TV show only. This is not like, hey, we're on set, we're going to shut down the set because of the hurricane, whatever. And then we'll, that's not the way this works. This is like real life. We're out here trying to find a real treasure, trying to find real discoveries, trying to solve history or, whatever,
mm-hmm.
trying to figure things out. And Mother Nature says,
Oh yeah, gotta watch out for Mother Nature. Her and Oak Island, they clash. It's no bueno, no bueno. But for you keep hearing them saying they're prepping, and well, or what bothered me was I was like, why didn't you prep before? And then that way you could dig all the way to like right before, and then you can all peace out. But Rick kept saying, not Rick, sorry, Marty was saying that he was afraid it really could shut down the operation for the rest of the year, because the rest of the year could end up being a cleanup effort.
Bummer, huh?
They got lucky.
They got lucky in Smith's Cove, for sure. They got lucky everywhere, but, that was a real step backwards in the swamp. And the causeway got pretty messed up, too.
Yeah, what'd they say? About 2 feet of it got washed out from underneath because the waves were hitting it and the rocks weren't up high enough to kind of be able to do that protection. They were just pulled down. They were lucky they didn't lose the entirety of it.
Yep. And then they had, so I follow a lot of these different Oak Island pages on Facebook.
Yeah.
There's one that every single Oak Island fan should follow. It's called Oak Island, or the other side of the causeway.
Yeah.
Or Oak Island on the other side of the causeway, or from the other side of the causeway, something like that. It's really good, really cool information, because this woman, her name's Karen, she lives literally at the end of the causeway. And she takes pictures and posts them all the time of like heavy equipment going back and forth.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a big storm, she takes pictures, and it's really neat.
Yeah.
So she posted something the other day, and she's like, yeah, 2 days later they had heavy equipment rolling across that causeway again because they had it fixed. Because you know what? Time is money, friend.
It's seriously all hands on deck.
Yeah, they're just so they had Rick and Scott go and survey kind of the damage, and then they marked it out. And guess what? I guarantee even that day someone came to start fixing that thing.
Yeah, it was probably high on Scott's priorities as a project manager to get someone out there. They can't keep pushing back projects. They're already going to be behind because they have to repump the swamp that's now full. And I can't even. Yeah, that would be terribly unfortunate. I mean, you lose a day. That's
yeah, and they lost more than a week in the swamp because of this. So
and so speaking of that, you say Scott and Rick go out there survey after the fact. You know who went and surveyed during the storm? Rick and Marty are out there, and it's like hurricaning. And they're worried about it, wash it. I was like, you can do nothing right now. You should be somewhere safe.
Yeah.
Right? Am I crazy? And they filmed it. So all I'm thinking is the camera's getting soaked, even with like whatever they have covered. There's lightning. I don't want to be holding a camera in the lightning.
Rick and Marty, that is not the concern.
No.
I think they're thinking to themselves, well, if you want us to wrap up, why don't you wrap up and get out of here? We have things to look at.
Yeah, like I do not want to be the cameraman that got stuck on that duty, just holding this camera and lightning. I bet you they have to sign like a waiver of I don't know.
A waiver of what?
Death. Like I can't imagine being electrocuted with a camera. Seems like a bad idea.
Seems like a bad idea, sure.
That's all I got on that. But when they come back, 2 days later, and Billy's already out there ready to work, and they say, okay, we're going to pump the swamp. Billy takes care of the trees, and it looks like they hauled out like how many dumpsters full of trees?
A lot. It was just funny to see Billy was like literally the first one there.
Of course he was. He's Billy.
Yeah, I mean, after the devastation, the newscasters came back. They're like, oh, look at all this devastation all across Nova Scotia, or not. I guess it's mostly Halifax.
Yeah.
Down trees everywhere. Yeah. Whatever. And then it's like, then they get to the swamp and, Rick and Scott are just getting there. And they're like, oh, hey, Billy, what are you doing?
Yeah. He's like, I'm waiting for instructions.
Yeah. He's like, come on, guys, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's clean it up.
Let's go.
Yeah. lots of stuff happened this episode, even though it may not seem like a lot because not a lot of progress was made as far as treasure is concerned, I guess. But man, this episode is action packed.
Oh, yeah. They were definitely telling a story. And I think we're getting a setup for next week, which it sounds like based off of the next week on that we're going to get a lot of good stuff.
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, I think they always give us good stuff.
Well, duh. I didn't say they didn't.
I know.
One of my favorite parts, since we're talking about the swamp, though. Okay, so Marty suggests to Rick to like get in the hole and see if they can feel the rocks or whatever. And he asks Craig, "You want to get in?" And like he didn't really want to. So he gets in, and Craig is getting ready to come down, and he's got a big piece of plywood, and he puts it down. Yeah, my first thought is we're like he's going sledding down the side of the hole. I was like, hey, that's the way to do it.
Man, I want to go sledding in the swamp.
Okay, I do not want to go sledding in the swamp. That's a bad idea. You don't like even getting dirty.
It's a joke.
Ha ha ha.
Ha. Okay.
Well, I think Craig is the only person that can say he's been sledding in the swamp now. But that was
only
impressive.
Person? I don't know if he's the only person.
Who else do you think has been sledding in the swamp?
The rest all had kids. Who knows?
They were, I'm sure. No, I'm done. I'm done.
You know, that's what Dave Blankenship was doing 50 years ago.
No, he was blowing up things. Yeah. He had too much fun with C4 and not 14.
Yeah. I still think it's funny that they're like, Steve, batten down the hatches.
Yeah.
What is Steve, a pirate?
He's got to take care of the center.
Yeah.
Well, I hope the center didn't get blown away and they're like protected back in. There's, several buildings right there.
They're kind of like manufactured home kind of things, right? Yeah. So they're like, don't even have like a foundation. So, I mean,
unless they ended up putting them on a foundation and doing proper tie downs, but even then they can sustain quite a bit of damage. Just depending on what kind of skirting and all that they have out there. But these newer ones, they've come a long ways.
Yeah. Hey, I just glanced over at our chat.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, we are recording this live and we do have a chat going. We're not typically going to like just check out the chat on the regular podcast, but this message was pretty good. Booze and Bourbon Podcast. Hi, Booze and Bourbon. They're our friend, our podcast friends.
Yep.
They said Billy probably smells like landscaping, fuel, and freshly cut grass. I had to throw that in there because that feels
like a cologne that should be sold in the gift shop.
The scent of Billy.
Billy, fresh cut grass.
That's pretty good.
Oh, that's a good marketing campaigin right there.
Well, thanks to our friends at Booze and Bourbon Podcast for that fun little tidbit.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, I mean, what else we got? Does that kind of wrap up kind of the episode? Do we do the next time on the Curse of Oak Island?
Yes, I think so.
So what happens?
So next time
on the Curse of Oak Island,
let's see here. Possible old axe head comes up when Gary, Jack, and Peter are out metal detecting. Gary says, or possibly a weapon.
Could be a weapon.
It could be an axe for axe cut wood. Just saying.
There's a lot of possibilities.
There is.
It was really, really like rusted and corroded.
Yeah, so it had all the junk on it.
But it looks like it hasn't been touched in a long time because they found it it looked like a little bit of a deep hole.
Yeah, actually it was fairly deep.
Yeah. What else do they say?
Let's see here. We do get a shot of the war room and Craig saying something about dates with 1741.
What is it?
We will speculate our hearts
something
out.
To do with wood.
I bet it did.
Okay, then the field trip to the fortress at Lewisburg.
Yep.
They inspect the drainage system and suggest a link back to the box drains on Oak Island.
That's Rick and Doug. Out there.
Yeah, it looks like a fun little field trip, but it's a little far fetched.
Well,
but maybe.
Okay, so we also get a shot in the swamp with Dr. Ian Spooner. Steve's there, Rick's there, and
the crew.
Yeah, the crew is there, and there's all these different rocks where we thought, at least I'm presuming, was the stone pathway, and the way they were kind of lumped together made me think of the way the stones were lumped together at the fortress of Lewisburg.
Okay.
And I am thinking that's probably where they're going to try to draw that connection, is the way the rocks are clustered there. But
Okay.
should be really interesting.
It will be fun. I like hearing about all their crazy theories, whether they're something that seems so far-fetched it can't be real, to things like, oh, that makes complete and perfect sense. So I'm in.
I'm working on a theory that I haven't shared with you.
What?
No, I can't share it with you yet. I want to like be able to show it to you, and then you'll be like, oh.
You want to just bestow me with your wisdom?
Yeah, or just when I finish, I was just doing some reading and I got an idea, and I think it's legit. I may have just solved the mystery of Oak Island.
Oh, wow. That's saying something. Why didn't you lead the show with that? Jeez.
Oh, because
you solved the mystery of Oak Island as an afterthought. Come on.
I'm just saying, not everybody just wants some random podcaster to solve the mystery.
I want you to.
Yeah, that's
I'll
true.
get to see it in the war room someday.
That's true. That's true. I'll work on it.
All right. So
yeah.
Also, I heard Dr. Ian Spooner. He said that they've uncovered something that people haven't seen in hundreds of years.
Oh, yeah.
Dun dun dun.
I mean, that makes sense if they're looking in the bottom of the swamp and the thing.
Yep.
So there's that.
There's that. Well, that's it.
That's it for this episode.
Yeah. Well, don't go away yet.
Yeah, don't go away.
There's still more.
There's more. Okay, what do we normally do right now?
We do the clot-worthy moment.
Would you like to tell our listeners what happened?
I forgot to.
Or would you like me to explain?
I was about to say it.
You should do that.
Deidre, I love you. You're awesome. You're the best. Deidre literally served it up on a silver platter for me and gave me all the pieces of the puzzle to make it nice and easy for me to do, to put the clot-worthy vote up on Facebook and Twitter. And I just forgot. I had other things going on in my brain, I guess, and clot-worthy moment wasn't top of mind.
No, literally last Thursday, I gave them all the things.
Yeah, so this is probably like somewhere in the neighborhood of the 40th episode or so of Could It Be?
Yeah.
And this is the first time that I failed on getting a clot-worthy moment vote up. So I apologize. That's all me. That's my bad. So my bad. And how do we fix this?
Well, the good news for you is we only had one clot-worthy moment this week.
What?
Yeah, I know. I was just flabbergasted while taking my notes. And you know what it was?
What?
Axe cut wood. And we've had that one before.
We had that one before.
My heart was broken.
Why? That's a good one, though.
It is, but I'm saying I didn't even have two to pit against each other. That's always the goal.
Okay, so how are we going to fix this, like with last week, and what are we going to do?
Okay, so because you already have everything, we are going to revote.
Well, we haven't voted at all.
That's my point. We are going to actually do last week's vote this week.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. Where would they vote?
Go to www.facebook.com/OakIslandPodcast. Deidre loves it when I throw the www part in there.
Not.
Or you can go to Twitter and
with our Twitter handle.
Yeah, it's at Oak Island Pod. You look that up, however you look that up. Or you can do if you go into search on Twitter and do hashtag Oak Island Podcast, you'll find us too.
Or hashtag Could It Be?
There you go.
Any of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can do that, and then you can find us, and then guess what? Tonight, you will have a chance the opportunity to vote for your favorite clot-worthy moment. So are you going to replay last week's clot-worthy moments so that everyone knows what the vote is?
Yes. Let's do that now. Okay. So your first option is is broken. Okay. So apparently I dropped the ball.
Okay. Do you have the other one?
Oh my gosh.
Fail.
Man.
Can you just play them?
You need to calm down. You should entertain them right now.
Well, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Twiddly-dee.
There they are, standing in a row.
Bomb, bomb, bomb.
Yeah. Something that while you're, are you doing something else?
Yeah,
or?
I just fixed.
Oh, you fixed it.
Yeah, I fixed it.
That was quick.
I know.
Man.
I'm technical.
You're magical.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
All right. Let's try this again. Okay, number 1.
A silver tag? Could the team have just found an actual piece of the Oak Island treasure at Smith's Cove?
Number 1.
I love it.
Is a silver tag.
Okay. I remember that from last week.
That's good. Number 2.
Okay.
Sand packed inside a layer of clay?
Okay.
Okay, so those are your 2 options for this week for the Clotworthy moment, and vote so that next week we actually have an answer, and Dustin's going to get them put up there for you.
Today.
Tonight, as soon as I get it uploaded to
Thursday.
Our feed.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Got it?
We'll do it. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I apologize once again, everyone. My bad.
Oh, well. We'll let it slide.
Thanks. And something cool that we have this time, right?
Mhm.
We got a voicemail.
We have a voicemail. Now, this is one of the ones we mentioned we got a while ago. And we want to finally play it and chat about it.
Let's do it.
That
sounds great.
Okay, you ready?
Let's hear it.
Hey, Acorn. This is Mike calling from Southern California. I just got to say, how did Dan Hensky sit on that sluiceway that points straight to the money pit knowledge for like 6 seasons? And then this season, he just throws it out there like, oh, I know this thing that points right to the money pit. Let's dig it up. Seriously. If you guys have thoughts on it, let us know.
Seriously.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you reaching out to us. And, sorry that it took us so long to
That's embarrassing.
figure out a way to get this onto our little push button board to get the voice, to get it all together. So,
but we're here and we know things.
Yeah, Mike, thank you so much. So let's chat about that.
Okay, so this had to do with the beginning of this year, right? We find out that
quite a few episodes ago.
Yeah, it was quite a few episodes ago, but we haven't talked about the sluiceway in a while.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is Hero Dan comes out. He's like, oh, look, this could potentially just be a path right to the money pit.
I think the reason that, he didn't like tell everybody, hey, 6 years ago, we should go and do this. This is like this should be step number 1 and it'll lead us to the money pit. It's because he probably didn't know.
Yeah.
They have so much, data that they have to go through that I think they've probably had a chance to skim through a lot of it, but maybe they haven't, they don't focus in on little bits and pieces. And then when they get the chance to really do that, then they can have this kind of idea and this breakthrough. I don't know.
I kind of pictured Dan as, and those maybe that know Dan could tell us, the guy that comes in, works hard, kind of hands in the dirt. So when Dan and Dan are out there working, they're digging. They spent a lot of time working in 10X and not necessarily looking for something like a back door that could have been a sluiceway up to it's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that he came across a piece of information and he's like, oh, that's extremely relevant. Oh, that's something we can, work on right now. Like we could take advantage of this information this year and make this happen.
Yeah.
And so he did it.
It's funny because I have to admit, my initial thought was, really, Dan? You've been here, stuff.
He knows stuff.
Yeah. Why'd you wait this long to tell us?
Was it season 1 that he's like, yeah, and right over here is where they found coconut fiber, and then they do like they drill down and they're like, oh, here's coconut fiber. Like
he knew exactly where.
Like he was standing right on the spot. Like he didn't have to do any measurements or anything. He's like, whoop, right there, guys.
I bet you that guy's got a memory like a steel trap.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That's one of the primary reasons that when we made his trading card, his title is the Wise Sage.
Yeah.
Because that guy is a genius. He's very smart. He's been through it all on Oak Island.
Oh, yeah.
He's Dan, the man, Hensky.
Dan the man Hensky.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's a good title.
Well, the white sage is pretty good too.
It is, but I also I feel like if I see Dan, I'll be like, Dan the man.
I hope he gives me a high five if I ever see him on Oak Island.
A high five.
No, something.
Okay.
Fist bump.
A fist.
You think he's probably more of a handshaker?
He's definitely a
old
handshaker.
school. Yeah, I'll shake it. That's cool. You're a handshaker too.
You can deal with a handshake.
When I first met Deidre, the first thing I said, "Hi, I'm Dustin." She's like, "I sure hope so." And because we met on MySpace.
Yeah.
And we shook hands, and she had like a really firm handshake. I was like, "Whoa, better not cross her."
Yep. I was always taught your handshake was your first impression, and I have found that it happens a lot. People are a little taken back by my handshake.
Yeah, I don't like squeeze real hard, but I give a nice solid handshake, but you give like a firm handshake.
Yeah, you got to give a firm handshake. Whoa. You look them in the eye, you set the tone. As a woman in certain industries, unless you set that tone up front,
I'll walk all over you.
Yeah,
right?
and I'm sorry, I'm not gonna deal with that. So
yeah,
it can take people aback when I first meet them.
So if anyone of our listeners ever meet us, I think we met one of our listeners recently, Ben.
Yes.
I think you shook his hand. He's like, "Whoa!" I think he did.
Really?
I think he was
I don't remember that.
I think he was taken aback by your firmness.
I'm just so used to it that I don't notice. Like you notice weird things like that. So yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the voicemail.
Yes, thank you for your voicemail.
Yeah,
and
Mike, you're awesome.
We greatly appreciate it. I loved it. I seriously, it gave me a good chuckle. And speaking of sluiceways, so I was looking for particular things online, like shopping, and the first thing it suggested was a portable sluiceway. And I actually laughed out loud. I was thinking, why are they suggesting a portable sluiceway to me?
That's bizarre.
Yeah, it folded up. It was green, and so apparently we need a sluice for some reason.
No, I think we're good. All right, so if you want to be just like Mike and leave us an awesome voicemail, you could do so. Just call us at 360-836-4549, and we can have a fun chat about whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, not whatever.
Oak Island related, please.
Let's stay remotely on topic. I mean, we're guilty of going on tangents, but
treasure hunt, Oak Island. That kind of ballpark.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was very cool and fun. So thanks.
Yes.
I do want to give a shout out to our latest patron.
Yeah.
Over on Patreon. So we have Karen Mills. Thank you so much.
Karen,
and we hope you enjoy your Oak Island trading cards.
Yes.
So we have Karen has joined many others that support us through Patreon.
Yep.
If you go to patreon.com/OakIslandPodcast, you too can support us, and we will send you awesome Oak Island themed trading cards every single month for the rest of time. Well, at least until
for as long as you're subscribed.
Well, and as long as we keep doing this podcast and they keep doing the show, and there's
all the things.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors, but for a long, long time because this show's not stopping.
Nope, can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. So.
You guys should be receiving your cards by now. I know a lot of you have.
Yep. And we are beginning to roll out sneak peeks at our newest set.
February.
The set that's going to complete the first series.
Yes.
The Pirates, Knights, and Kings.
Oh, my.
So we just revealed on our latest live stream on Tuesday, Tony Sampson. And who is he?
Who is he?
Yeah. Well, what's his title?
He is the Lord of Swamp and Seas.
Lord of the Swamp and Seas. Yeah. And his card is epic.
It is epic.
We'll post
so
it.
Awesome.
We'll post it on our Facebook page.
Yeah,
and that's facebook.com/OakIslandPodcast.
Correct.
Yeah, we're on Instagram, right?
Yes, we're also on Instagram at Oak Island Podcast. You can follow us there.
And if you want to email us, go ahead.
I wonder what it is. OakIslandPodcast@gmail.com.
There you go. So, is there anything else? There's one other thing I wanted to bring up.
What?
This is not Oak Island related. So
okay.
I just want to throw this out there, and because since we're on,
I'm a little scared.
Since we're on video, I just want to see your reaction.
Oh, great.
So Deidre is a huge Batman fan.
Oh yeah.
And there's a new Batman movie that just started going into production, and she had no idea who Batman was, and it's called The Batman, and it's
not the Batman.
Yeah, and she's like, well, it's what's his name? Ben Affleck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nope, they changed out Batman. It's someone else now. And she's like, who? And I said, well, let me give you a hint. He sparkles in the sun. And Deidre was like,
I freaked out.
oh, I thought you were going to say no.
Yeah, I did that. I was ticked. I'm still ticked.
I guess she's not a fan.
I am absolutely not okay.
I'm willing to give him a shot, but
I am not.
I really like Ben Affleck.
Count.
I thought Ben Affleck was a good Batman.
I mean, but yeah, I'll keep Ben. Anybody. Like, Batman doesn't sparkle. Okay, he's dark.
Okay,
he's like
it's
me.
Different universes. He's not going to sparkle.
I don't care. It just I have a real problem with it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I know it's a sore subject. We will
not be seeing that. I will not support this Batman.
I'll probably go see
Yes, Tobey Maguire is the only Spider-Man.
Wow, that's a swerve right there. All right. So one other thing I want to talk about Oak Island before we really wrap up is how poor Canada and poor rest of the world get to watch Oak Island after the United States.
It is really sad.
Like we really, I wish there was something more that we can do about like bringing it to the attention of the History Channel and to Prometheus Entertainment to be like, hey, people in Canada want to watch on the same day as the people in the United States. And the people in England don't want to watch it like 3 months after the fact or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah. I bet you they'd take a week later.
Yeah. Or
like anything.
Yeah. Anything. Let's get us all on the same day. If you have to move the broadcast for United States to Sunday, problem solved. Then everybody watches on Sunday. Move Canada to Tuesday, whatever, problem solved. Come on. Like
can you imagine how strong this Oak Island community could be?
Yeah, I mean, look at these poor people over in like the UK. I mean, they have to wait months to catch up. How can you be involved in any of the communities online or, you know, whatever, and without being spoiled? You can't. And that's just a bummer because I hate being spoiled.
I know. It's a bummer.
Yeah, so
it'll be good when we start doing our recaps on like previous seasons because all those people will have already seen it and we can all chat about that.
And we're really close to that, by the way. We only need a couple more Patreon subscribers, and then we'll start doing bonus episodes of watch along starting season 1, episode 1 of The Curse of Oak Island. So it's coming really soon. So if you haven't already, like one more time, patreon.com/OakIslandPodcast. Go sign up there and you'll get awesome things. Plus you get awesome new content.
Yep. Regardless, you're awesome.
You guys are awesome.
You rock.
You know what? You're awesome.
You rock me like a hurricane.
I'm not awesome?
You're awesome.
Oh, okay, good.
And you rock like a hurricane.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, is that it?
That's it.
All right. Well, hey, you guys are awesome. Have a good week.
Anything
else?
Week. Nope.
Until
next time.
Could it be?
Billy, why don't we switch out? You can keep going.
We'll do our best.
Yeah. Woo, baby. There you go.